All right, I know I already captured this, but I want to make sure that I'm capturing the ongoing sex offense. This is another aspect of the sex offense. I have to get physically indisposed, and I have to walk in this direction to get to my shower, okay? So being physically indisposed, I want to be clear, this criminal weapon that the entity is aiming inside for a criminal purpose, which is of a corporate nature, this is speaking to a sex offense that I'm subject to, in the same way that no group stalker has the permission to physically touch me with any instrument of their person with their hands. I wouldn't allow them to touch me. The entity is not permitted to touch me with an instrument of its criminal system. And so this is a sex offense. They're touching my indisposed person without my consent. And I want to be clear, the entity is usually engaging in this sex offense without the knowledge of the target individual. This is an enhanced violation of a sexual nature because they're monitoring the documentation. This is a violent sex offender that knows it doesn't have consent. I'm repeatedly telling them that they don't have consent, and they are persisting. This is an unlawful touching, and I want to document that because this is what I'm subject to on an ongoing basis. This is an ongoing unlawful touching while I have to walk into the light. They're touching my person right now, I want to be clear, but I have to go and I have to take care of your hygiene. I have to go wash myself, but I want to document this because I'm going to sue them. This is a sex offense. This is an unlawful touching that shall be appreciated. This is what the demonic are doing to monitor you. What they are doing must be analyzed for purposes of prosecuting it. Understand. So while they pursue and stalk and place what is the engineered light for a criminal system, that is while they are maintaining surveillance, real-time knowledge. Any other sex offender that was hanging outside of your front door, recording everything that you're doing, recording any sexual acts that you're engaged in with any other person, which will be a third party, by the way, making it public information as well. That's a whole other sex offense that I'm going to get to. The entity engaging in recording what you're doing while you're in the bathroom. All right, placing a camera in the bathroom. Understand, this is analogous to that sex offender. This is of a whole other level of sexual violence. A public entity is keeping you under surveillance and aiming what is for the purposes of keeping you under surveillance and monitoring you in the most demented ways for purposes of doing so, which is sexually motivated. This is the sexually perverted aspect. All right. And it's an unlawful touching all over my body through what are closed blinds. It's an impossibility in the first place. And by the way, that's supposed to be the sunlight. So tell me, what the heck is that? It's the engineered light. It's engineered light. All right, this is my arm, 2 of them. You see that? It's engineered light, and this is an unlawful touching of my person. I'm going to document because I'm going to prosecute the sex offenders that are criminally facilitating. Todd Speaker is a sex offender. By virtue of engagement, this is how you are legally analyzed because this is what they're doing. And this is how you are prosecuting, criminalizing, legislating around the terrorism that a public entity is practicing with the people. That's how you legally analyze it, because that's what they're doing. The entity is engaging in what is a sex offense and unlawful touching. You don't have any consent to touch me. You don't have any consent to be in my private space. And you certainly don't while I'm continuously document, which the entity is monitoring documentation. It's also posing an unlawful emotional and psychological harms. All right, while you're aware, I want you to see, while I go and get that, this is all, an unlawful touching. So I want to be clear, this is a sex offense, and that the people of the state are doing this in concert with children. The children are here maintaining corporate presence. The children are here creating activity. The children are here participating in federal group stalking and monitoring. You're not going to change that criminal activity because they're under the age of majority. This is what the entity is practicing as a society, and they're going to be prosecuted as the society that they are, targeting an individual. All right, that's justice. That's what justice is, and they're sex offenders. All right, so this unlawful touching is going toward their prosecution. It's currently 7:32 a.m. as I'm subject to what's a sex offense. Also, while I'm in the shower, while I'm taking my clothes off, while I'm drying off, lotioning, whatever I'm doing, corporate knowledge, public information. All right, the psychological harms related to federal group stalking and monitoring. You're going to prosecute for that. P.O.C.